Hello, welcome to day 19, tip 19 of 30 days, 30 tips. Today I wanted to talk about essential expressions for online calls. As you can see I hope you can see the PDF here. So essential expressions for online calls and for online meetings is something that's really necessary nowadays. Everybody's working from home and having meetings from home. So if you are working in English and if you have meetings in English and you need to do that online, you have specific situations that you need vocabulary for. So today we're going to talk about that, okay? The first thing that we need to talk about is the beginning. So when you're beginning the meeting, you have that, hey, how are you? And then when everybody arrives, you need to, if you're leading the meeting, you need to say, okay, we need to start. So expressions that we normally use for that are, let's get started. Super easy. Let's get started. Let's start. Okay. If you want to use something a little bit more advanced, you could say, let's get down to business. Be careful if you use this because some people say, let's get down to the business, or little mistakes like that. If you're not going to use it properly, better not to use it. So learn it properly and use it properly, okay? It is okay to make mistakes, of course, but if you're going to use advanced expressions, use them properly, you know? So let's get started. Let's get down to business. And then the meeting is started. You want to check that people are hearing you okay, so that the audio is good. So can everybody hear me okay? And then if you're in charge and you want everyone to stay quiet while people are speaking, and you want to say, I'm going to mute you all, if that's okay. So you're going to put everybody on mute. So you can say, I'm going to mute you, or I'm going to put you all on mute. Okay, the opposite of that is I'm going to unmute you. So I'm going to mute you and unmute you. And then maybe you want to see everybody in the meeting. I know it's something that I insist on. So you could say, could you all keep your camera on, please? So remember, on, off. Turn your camera off, keep your camera on. Okay, so could you all keep your camera on, please? You'll notice as well that in English we use very polite vocabulary. It's could you, would you mind, can you please, you know? So could you all keep your camera on, please? And then please raise your hand. So you have that virtual hand in a lot of meetings. If there are a lot of people, please raise your hand if you want to say something, okay? And then, so you're starting the meeting and you can say, the first thing we need to talk about is, that's an expression you can use to start talking about the topics, okay? So moving on then to troubleshooting, to solving some problems that are unique to online calls, online meetings. If it's problems with your connection, you can say, I'm having connection issues, or are you having connection issues? We have some connection issues. We have some connection problems, okay? You can say, you are breaking up. And this is specifically if the connection is breaking a little bit, you know, people are sounding like robots, or you're missing some things. So you use this directed at the person. You are breaking up, not the connection is breaking up. It's more natural to say you. So you are breaking up. It's difficult to understand you, for example. You are breaking up. I didn't catch that. I didn't catch that. I love this expression because it can be used instead of saying I didn't understand. So if you don't hear somebody properly, it could be that you don't understand, or it could be the connection, you know. So you can say, I didn't catch that, to mean that you didn't hear properly what the person was saying, or you didn't understand, okay? So in the situation of an online meeting, you can say, I didn't catch that, when you didn't hear what the other person said, and you can ask them to repeat. I didn't catch that. Can you repeat? Okay. The next one, can you unmute yourself? So maybe someone is talking and they don't realize that they're on mute. So you need to remind them, to tell them, can you unmute yourself? Okay, we can't hear you. there is a problem with the sound, sorry. So there is a problem with the sound. And then sometimes you can't solve the problem during the call, so you need to stop the call and start again. I'm going to hang up and call again, or I'm going to hang up, leave the meeting, and start again, call again, or join again, to join the meeting or to call the meeting, okay? So you can say, I'm going to hang up and call again, okay? So that's to troubleshoot, to solve some problems. Next, if you're leading the meeting, you need some expressions to control the meeting, no? So if you want to move from one point to the next point, from one point of the agenda to the next point, you can say, let's move on. So move on is the perfect little phrasal verb to change from one topic to another. Let's move on to the next point, or the next topic, or the next thing we have on the agenda, okay? Then maybe someone is trying to interrupt you or interrupt someone, and you can say, let me finish, please, or please let me finish, you know, or can we let John finish and then you'll get a chance to speak, you know, so something like that. Then maybe what often happens in meetings is people start talking about other things that they shouldn't be talking about or that aren't strictly relevant to the meeting. So you could use expressions like, we're going off point, or we're getting sidetracked. So you can say, we're getting sidetracked, we need to get back on track. Okay, so think of a train track. You come off the train tracks, you need to come back on the train tracks. So we're getting sidetracked, we need to get back on track. We need to focus on the topic. This is perhaps the easier one to use. And you can say, that's a topic for another day or another meeting. We need to focus on the topic. Okay? So then other things that you might need to say are, for example, you need to share your screen like I'm doing right now to show people things. So I'm going to share my screen. Or can you share your screen, for example, so we can see what you're talking about? Can you see my screen to check? Because it can often happen that you're sharing the wrong screen or something. Can you see my screen? And then maybe you want people to see an attachment. So I have attached a document to the chat of the meeting, the comments. Or I have attached a PDF or whatever. And can you open the PDF, for example, I sent you by email just before the meeting started. Okay, so those are some instructions that you might be giving during the meeting. So then, finally, we need to finish up the meeting. Some expressions you can use for that are, we need to wrap it up. We're running out of time. So the first one, to wrap it up, you can say we need to finish the meeting. It's perfect. But if you want to use a nice little expression, we need to wrap it up is a good one. We use the verb to wrap to put the paper on presents or on gifts to give to people. So I suppose you can use the image of wrapping the present to finish it and to give it. So we need to wrap it up. We're running out of time. Running out of time means that you almost have no time left. Okay, the time for the meeting is almost finished. So we need to wrap up the meeting. We're running out of time. Okay, is everybody clear on what they have to do? Does everybody know what they need to do after the meeting? What tasks or jobs they have? To summarize or to go back and repeat what we said quickly. To summarize is an expression for this. Let's follow up on this next week, or let's have a follow-up meeting. So this is to have another meeting to review or to look at the things that we're talking about today. Okay, it's to continuously review the situation. So let's follow up on this next week or tomorrow or whenever. So it's a verb and it's an adjective. Let's follow up or have a follow-up meeting. If you want to check the time and day of the next meeting, you could say, does this day next week suit everybody okay? Is it good for everyone? Or does tomorrow suit everybody? Or that doesn't suit me, or that suits me, okay? So we use the expression to suit to say that it's good for you, or it's a suitable time for you or not. And then I will email everyone the minutes later. So the minutes of the meeting are the notes that you take in the meeting in written form, usually sent by email or in a short report, okay? Not all meetings do that, but the more important ones would do that to have a record of what was being said. So I will email everyone the minutes later, okay? So I hope those expressions were useful. It's taken from our next meeting course, which we're finishing right now, and we'll be going live next week. So if you want a copy of these expressions, just click the link below. It'll take you to a page where you get some resources, including this one. Hope that was useful, and see you again tomorrow for another tip.